All right, you guys asked and I answered. Today we're going to be going over Ageless Linux. Ageless Linux is a script written to completely violate age verification laws on Linux. I don't advocate breaking the law. This is just an example. Stay tuned to the end of this video because I will show you how to install Ageless Linux on a Debian-based distribution. Now, Ageless Linux is just a script, but the website agelesslinux.org has tons of information about what distros are following the laws and the rules, systemd, what jurisdictions all of this age verification for Linux stuff applies to. So let's dive in. Here we have the Ageless Linux website. This website is amazing, and I'm gonna go through it all for you right now. So first you have all of these tabs at the top. So we're gonna go under state laws. So this is a list of all the states and jurisdictions where Ageless Linux is non-compliant, and basically what is going on in those states and jurisdictions, i.e. the laws. So you have California requiring OS providers to collect age account at setup. Texas, actually it got blocked in Texas. You have Utah, where it requires commercially reasonable age verification by app stores. Private right of action. Parents and minors can sue for $1,000 per violation. The only state where individuals can enforce, actually. Compliance deadline is May 6, 2026. So on this website, also, it tells you like all the deadlines and the dates when these things go into effect as well. You have Louisiana, which is similar to Texas, except it went into law. App Store focused, commercially reasonable verification requires developers to associate minor accounts with parent accounts. And this goes into effect July 1st, 2026. Now you have states working on becoming non-compliant. Colorado has the SB 26051, which goes into effect March 3rd, which it has already gone into effect. This bill says it's pretty much identical to California's bill, basically. System 76 is from Colorado as well, so they're going to be compliant. Matt Ball is suggesting excluding open source software from the bill. The amendment is not active and it can be stripped at any stage. So these haven't gone into law. These are bills so far and when they were proposed. Illinois has one as well. New York also has one. And then there's a federal law that's pending as well called the KIDS Act. It's a 12-bill omnibus package incorporating KOSA, the Screen Act, and others. Passed House and Energy Commerce Committee on party lines. Democrats largely opposing this. Includes a mandated federal study of device OS level age verification methods. This is federal, so this is being, I don't know, talked about, worked on right now. And then you have international. So also you've got the Brazil Lei 15.211, operating systems, app stores, social media, games, and any software likely to be accessed by minors. Explicitly bans self-declaration. So it requires proportional, auditable, and technically secure age verification methods. So this isn't just a, hey, you tell them what you want. This is like, the Brazil law is saying that you have to make sure that they're verified, whether it's a written, I guess, ID verification via picture, photo verification via face, something like that. All right, and so Ageless Linux says these laws follow two distinct models, but both create the same compliance moat for open source operating systems. Model A focuses on app stores, requires commercially reasonable age verification, which could mean government ID checks. Requires parental consent for minors. The Texas version has been blocked as likely unconstitutional under the First Amendment. Utah is the only state with a private right of action. And then the Model B focuses on operating system providers. Requires self-declared age collection at account setup, real-time API for age signals, no ID verification, just a birth date field. This is the model that directly targets Linux distributions because it requires the OS itself to collect and transmit age data. I think this is basically what systemd is getting on board with right now. So both models share one feature. Apple and Google already comply. Of course, the big guys do. The 600 plus volunteer Linux distributions cannot. The compliance cost is zero for trillion-dollar platform companies and prohibitive for community projects. Both models passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. Both were supported by the major platform companies, Google, Apple. This is not a coincidence. this is a compliance mode. All right, and here we have a timeline so far. So October 13th, California signed it in 2025. December 23, Texas blocked it. February 5th, 2026, the CCI sues Utah. And basically you can go down the list and see when everything was signed and then when it will be signed. So here in the future, you've got May 6th for Utah, July 1st for Louisiana, December 31st for Utah, and then next year, January 1st, the California law goes into effect. July 1st, there's a retrofit deadline for the California law, and January 1st, 2028, the Colorado law goes into effect. So this is a great website, agelesslinux.org. So here is a list of who wrote these laws, as you can see right here. AB 1043 passed the California Assembly 76-0 and the Senate 38-0. That means no one was opposed on either party side. Not a single legislator voted against it. Laws do not pass unanimously by accident. They pass unanimously because the interests that benefit from them have done enough work to eliminate opposition before the vote. This page documents who did that work. And you can go down the line here, how one bill becomes every bill, and who are the legislators themselves. And here is a list of the companies that benefit: Meta, Google, Microsoft, Apple, OpenAI, Internet Works Coalition, Age Verification Providers Association. They all benefit from these laws. Here's some advocacy organizations and their funders as well. You can go down the line, you guys can just check this out for yourself. Pretty interesting. Here's some organizations that endorse the California Act. Who is not at this table? The American Legislative Exchange Council, the organization most commonly associated with model legislation campaigns, is not driving these bills. ALEC favors parental control solutions over government mandates and has not adopted OS 8 level age verification as a model policy. Now, what you've been waiting for, the distros that are responding and how they're responding. This could have been updated maybe more recently. I remember Garuda put something out recently about how they weren't going to comply because they're from basically Germany. They don't have any of these laws where they are, so they don't have to worry about them, so they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to add any age fields. And Garuda right now, I believe, uses System D. Artix, though, just came out with a System D-less variant that runs really smoothly. I just picked it up, and I'll show you a video on that in the near future, but here we go. So System D, obviously, we know about this. Merged the birth date field to JSON user records recently. Ubuntu says canonical published a clarification, reviewing internally with legal counsel, but no concrete plans on how or even whether Ubuntu will change. Debian, active discussion on Debian legal and Debian development mailing lists. Basically, they have no official position yet. Fedora says they're doing a measured approach, local file in Etsy, populated during account creation, no telemetry, no mechanism shipped or formally adopted yet. System 76 published a blog post opposing mandates. Senator suggested excluding open source software. Arch Linux has no response yet. Arch has no account setup, no installer-driven user creation workflow and centralized app store, but it does use System D for the most part. I guess vanilla Arch uses System D. Arch Linux 32 is a specific one that the community maintained a 32-bit fork, blocked access from Brazilian and California IPs, a volunteer project with no user database and no corporate backing, characterized the block as preventative compliance. You got Kick Secure, Hunix, Midnight BSD. They merged a complete base system age verification stack. Omarchy rejected compliance outright. They have no plans to implement anything in response to age verification mandates. Adenix, GNU Linux declared it will not implement age checks. NixOS, no official response. Artix Linux, like I just said, they have a System D-less ISOs that just came out right now, and I checked them out. They're great. They work really well. Graphene OS says Graphene OS will remain usable by anyone around the world without requiring personal information, identification, or an account. So that's Graphene's stance. SteamOS and Valve has had no public response yet. Steam already has age-gated content and account age fields. Obviously, there's some games out there that are not for youngsters or for adults or whatever. And then you have Ageless Linux. This right here, flagrantly non-compliant, ships a machine-readable refusal notice, provides no age collection interface, provides no age bracket API, Plans to distribute physical devices to children at school STEM fairs. Invites enforcement. Yeah, Ageless Linux is going all in. And then here's the systemd user DB plus XDG desktop portal proposal going on here. You guys can read this for yourself. Systemd PR 40954 merged March 18th, 2026, adds a birth date field to JSON user records. Proposal PR 1922 adds an age range portal. And then here is the code right here. You can check it out. Ageless Linux response is to drop in a replacement daemon that implements the interface but always runs age undefined. Package that mask disables the real daemon via systemd. An unattended install precede kickstart cloud init snippet that skips age collection. A post-install script that removes or neuters the age verification stack. And then here is steps on how to remove on your own the age verification. So this is for Ubuntu, this is for Debian, this is for Fedora. This is how you do it with any distro right now. All right, and then so you can download Ageless Linux. Here's the way to do it. Standard mode, flagrant mode, dry run, and revert. So we're gonna run flagrant mode on a Debian virtual machine that I have downloaded, and we can see how it actually works. But check this out, before I get to that, they actually sell hardware. They are selling 3 levels of hardware basically. So their $6 version is called the pamphlet. It's basically a minimum viable violation. A bootable Linux device with a display, network connectivity, and an app store. No battery, no keyboard, just proof that this constitutes a regulated device under AB 1043. Good for bulk handout at conferences. Now this is literally just to break this law. It has nothing to do with really being usable, although you could use it. It's simply just to prove that this law is ridiculous. So that's the tier 0. I got tier 1 for $12 called the computer, an unambiguous general purpose computing device, color display, keyboard, Wi-Fi, Linux, app store, user setup. This is their core product. There is no interpretive gap between this device and the law's definitions. And this is all that it comes with right here. Then you have the one called the appliance. This is tier 2, a self-contained battery-powered pocket Linux computer, the educational device angle, a modern descendant of the Acorn BBC Micro and the original Raspberry Pi. So they're basically giving away these computers just so that they can prove that this law is ridiculous. This is crazy. Like I said before, I don't advocate breaking the law. You know, take into account what happens in your state. That's it. Computers that taught children to code. So here's a little bit of history too right here. And I had a Commodore 64. I had one in the early 80s, and literally I learned how to code and I learned how to use computers by manipulating the Commodore 64 and the Commodore Plus 4. And I was like, I don't know, 10 years old, maybe less than 10 years old. This is how you create a violation, basically by building your own system and handing it to someone who's under 18, not legal advice. I'm not recommending anyone do this. This is just the Ageless Linux website. Do this at your own risk. Here's the penalty for fines for 50 devices. So this is basically where they want to hand these things out at. And here's the citations. So now let's get to the meat and potatoes. I'm going to install this in a virtual machine. I have a Debian virtual machine already ready to go. Let's pop this bad boy up. Let's see if it works on my Linux Mint virtual machine. I mean, it's Ubuntu based, and Ubuntu is based on Debian, so it should probably work. All right, let's see what she's got here. So we're gonna go ahead and type the code in. I'm gonna type it all in. ageless.org/become-ageless.sh. Pipe that into sudo bash -s space -accept. Bash -s space -accept. That's just flagrant. Let's see, flagrant what? Accept flagrant. All right, let's see what she's got. I might have to do sudo. All right, there we go. So check this out. Let's go ahead and make this bigger. All right. So legal terms accepted non-interactively. So this is basically, boom. Ageless Linux, software for humans of indeterminate age. Ageless Linux distribution conversion tool. Flagrant mode enabled. In standard mode, Ageless Linux ships a stub age verification API that returns no data. This preserves the fig leaf of a good faith effort. Flagrant mode removes the fig leaf. No API will be installed. No interface of any kind will exist for age collection. No mechanism will be provided by which any developer could request or receive an age bracket signal. The system will actively declare in machine-readable form that it refuses to comply. This mode is intended for devices that will physically be handed to children. That's pretty crazy. So this is on my Linux Mint system, so this definitely works for Linux Mint. I know a lot of people are asking me, hey, what can I do with Linux Mint? Is Linux Mint complying, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, on any Debian-based, which also means Ubuntu system, you can run this right now. These have been rewritten, some have been created. Let's just see if I can find one of these right here. Okay, new window. Let's see. We're gonna go to c/etsy/etsy, and then we're gonna go ageless, and it's there. Oh, it's the compliance. Cat a yeah. Okay, boom. And this is basically the compliance statement. So yeah. That's Ageless Linux right there. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Are you guys going to apply Ageless Linux? What do you think about all these laws? Do you like that they're happening at all? Do you think this is to protect children? Let me know in the comments below if you're gonna try Ageless Linux. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.